Kick on campus out, drunk off the fact they be wine. Took off, take a lot, still can't deliver it, going. It's Kendi, I ain't stepping with Kendi. Choking your twins at the back, what we doing, gon' fuck up their children. This shit ain't for real, it's a civilian. Yeah, laugh and confusion, even enemies fuck with the crime.
Alright, so kicking it with Cam over here. The channel is The Way of Cam. Now check this out, right? Hold on. Let me introduce y'all. Know I gotta do my little intro. Woo! Can't even let's get that right? Now is the worst time to be in your 20s, gang. You know the biggest, the primary reason why I wanted to just like have this video right here at this marker right here where I've paused it right here. You know, my boy Cam, shout out Cam. Like some of his perspectives I respect them. You know what I'm saying? Not everything. You don't agree with everything everybody says. It's just like you're at that point, you're just an NPC. You're damn near a copy, a clone of that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Of their mind or whatever. But yo, check me out. Like he was touching on a point of, you know, just the phase of moving out, the phase at which you move out, or the phase at which people choose to move out of home. You know, choose to be independent. See what I'm saying? Choose to go ahead and tackle life at a level they deem to be fit for their own trajectory, gang, for their own just like development as a human thing. You know what I'm saying? Just like moving out of home, gang. And right in your 20s is where a whole lot of ideas within people's heads, you know, when that's supposed to happen for people, for you, for example, move out your own house. So he was at the point of breaking that down, moving out of your parents' house and things like that. The name of the video is titled "Now is the Worst Time to Be in Your 20s." You can go, like, if you find anything he's about to say of interest, you can go tap in. The channel name is The Way of Cam. But it's one thing that jumped out for me right when he reached this point. And it was the reasoning, right? Like breaking down the reasoning why people would want to go ahead and quickly move home, you know, as soon as possible. Like, even by your 20s is actually kind of late for other people out here, okay? You wouldn't think so? It's kind of late to move out your parents' house, right? Let me him speak, and then we'll
like they be so out of touch. Oh yeah, you know, in order to get girls, you know, you gotta do this and you gotta do that, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's like, bro, what you gotta understand is that most dudes are not getting girls not because they don't.
Okay, not the girl thing.
That's all you do is consume content. Feel me? And another thing too, they expect you to have everything together. When you hit your 20s, when you tell somebody you 25, 26, 27, anything over the age of like 22, 23, bro, they expect you to have all your shit together, bro. But I genuinely, I got a lot of homies, right? Bro, right now, times is so bad, bro. I know a lot of homies, bro. All of us, we all struggling, bro. Now, when I say struggling, I don't mean like we broke, but it's like, bro, a lot of 20-year-olds is moving back with their parents. If not staying with their parents, bro. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody moving out because it's just not smart to do. Right now, more than ever, it is not smart to move out of your parents' house. If that's a possibility. If they telling you to move out, then you got to get up out of there. But if you have the possibility of staying with your parents, I ain't gonna lie, stay with your parents. You got to let your ego go, bro. Let all the ego go. Let all the self-improvement.
Well, listen to me, right? The video is about like people's ideas of the expectation to move out and things like that. I want to break down that reason why people, right? He's saying no, it's actually a bad idea if you think about it.
Oh, when you in your 20s, you should be doing this. You know, you always see a fucking post from somebody on the internet. Oh, well, by the time you hit this age, you should have this much savings. You should be living with
Yes, okay, cool. Now, let's get into the real question, gang. Right? Why do you think it is? You know what I'm saying? And my whole was like vices, gang. Like everybody has to have their own vice, bro. Like, well, at least everybody thinks they have to have their own vice. Everybody does end up having their own vice, right? Especially like the older you get. Think about like having a vice, but you still like under your parents' roof and things like that. How do you think that's gonna? Do you think they're gonna accept that kind of shit? No, your vice is your own ghost, bro. Now think about like why people want their own space, because it's all a derivative of just wanting your own space, wanting your own independence and things, right? It's the vice talk, bro. This has nothing to do with this video. I'm sorry, bro. Shout out Cam gang. You know what I'm saying? Shout out Cam. It has nothing to do with the points he's trying to raise. You may be watching this being confused, like, oh, what are we talking about? Bro, like, you gotta think about it though. You know what I'm saying? It all stems from having a vice. Because what do vices do? Okay, what's a vice, bro? Like, it's something, man. Let me not even try and freestyle that. Let me give y'all the form of this. Should let you know. Get this thing going crazy. What is a vice? Vice is an immoral, wicked, or unhealthy habit, or a serious moral failing on someone's character, right? Now, you want to express that failing of your character in front of your parents, or in front of the people's, in front of your caregivers, the people that like give you a roof and some food to eat, shit, right? Because now there's boundaries to people's spaces. It's not your own space, it's your old folks' space. You know what I'm saying? So you can't be having none of these habits, but in some instances you do need, right? Seemingly seems like you need to get into, man, you grown enough, you work hard enough, this, that, and the third, right? And what do vices produce? Responsibility, gang. Right? How you want to get on this bandwagon of just like being the most what's this word, man? What the fuck? You know, cheating a lot. You know what I'm saying? Cracking everything that walks. You want to be the person that does that the most. You know what I'm saying? Off of some shit that becomes your vice. Women become your vice or whatever. It's like, bro, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to father a whole bunch of kids after that, right? It's a high possibility. Definitely a possibility. Father a whole, you know, there you go. That's the responsibility that you bear from that. You know what I'm saying? You want to get into a whole bunch of substances, there's a whole bunch of like effects that can come from that, especially maybe let's say you're a functional addict of some shit. You know what I'm saying? Maybe alcohol, or maybe that's your vice. Your vice is in the bottle or some shit like that. You know what I mean? Then it's like, yo, the health complications that come with that, that's the responsibility you bear. You see what I'm saying? But then now you have to be at a position where you can deal with that. You can deal with that decision yourself. Right? I feel like it's all from a principle of like, a vice, bro. Do you think a vice? Do you think moving out of your parents' crib or whatever would be a thing if vices didn't exist? If this fallen nature of human beings didn't exist, right? Where you just need to have things, especially now when you are capable, right? When you do become financially independent, things like that, and you can see that you don't need nobody's permission to do certain things. They're like, man, let me just get into X quick. And then you see, man, what? You know, you growing up now, you don't get like reprimanded like too much for certain things. Then you dive deep into that stuff, bro. It becomes your vice. Without that kind of energy existing, do you think that the pressure to move out your parents' home would be there? I don't know. I got shit. I thought I was cooking when I was thinking about that shit. Like, chill about myself. Bro, it's the vice, gang. You want to be free. You want to do all this, that, and the third. You want to do things that you know, maybe when you was raised, you were raised to look opposite those directions. But now you're trying to freaking get into them and things like, you know what I'm saying? That develops, you know, having vices and shit like that. See what I mean? Being restricted, coming up off of a household like you're super restricted or anything, even just experimenting on some shit, just for research purposes, so you can learn whether to get into it or not. You know what I'm saying? It's like that restriction, gang. It's gonna create that, oh my god, the day I get out of, I'm trying to get out of here so I can go experience that ASAP. Look at that. You wanna go feed a vice? You wanna move out of home to go feed a vice? Or maybe you wanna move out of home so that, you know what I'm saying, come on, bro. Get into a mansion, man, buy all type of things that'll attract maybe party vibes, you know what I'm saying? The hottest, latest toys and things like, so maybe you do work hard and you get all that. You know what I'm saying? You may be like, you may cover all that to be like, nah, just be a man that's just super ambitious, man. Get all the millions that you, get all the material that you can get, man. You know what I'm saying? Network, do this, that, and this, because it's feed a vice, gang. You know what I'm saying? And so you can host these elaborate parties and snort all these drugs and consume all these drugs and, you know, crack every female that walks, like every fine shit that would. It's vice, man. Think about if you would be like super transparent with the people that bring you up and things like that. You know, you trying to try some things, they allow you to try that, you know. But with guidance, they allow you to try that. They give you the warning when the, you know, if you would come across the negative extreme of some consequence, right? Like they help you understand why that happens. So just with guidance and things like that, do you think you'd want to get away from your you know, from your home, from your family's home? You think that's the first thing you'd want to do is just get away? Nah, bro, because you can be free around. You can be. I feel okay. Let's say it's limitation that produces vices, limitation that produces the idea of you having to get into vices, or maybe it's the idea of the unknown, curiosity. Okay, at this point, you know what? Fuck it. At this point, I'm just gambling. I don't know. Shit. Yeah, like what do you think gives people, you know, young people the pressure to want to move out of home? Saying within their 20s, even before their 20s.